I'm beginning to realize that I won't be coming back here for a very long time. 10 days from now, I'm taking anything that I find essential, which is not all that much, and then putting it into my car, and I'm driving off to Austria with no return date on the books. So, how's that weird? Because, this is my first time going abroad for a very long time. I mean, it's been my way of being for the last couple of years. Being an independent guide, I would head out for weeks at a time and it wouldn't bother me at all. It would be so easy, just the most normal thing in the world. I just pack up my van and leave. I'd be living in a van, I'd be living in tents, living in cheap hotels, sleeping in mountain huts, and then a couple of weeks later, after roaming Europe for a couple of weeks, I would just come back here, which maybe is home, I don't know. And before that, it was even more extreme. For a couple of years, I was working and semi-living in Iceland, meaning I didn't really have a fixed home, a fixed address in Iceland. Working as a guide in Iceland was a strange and very maturing experience because I didn't really have a home there. I didn't have a fixed place to stay, which is insane coming to think of it later. This was so difficult. People, they see you go out and work on the glaciers, and of course, I'm posting Instagram photos and all that kind of thing, and I was loving the job. I was loving many, many things about my life, going back and forth to Iceland, spending majority of my time there. But I didn't have a home, and it is so essential to have a home. I learned this lesson, very hard lesson there. I was basically living out of two backpacks. I had a big black duffel bag with my essentials, and then I had my guiding backpack, and this was everything I had. And I would take this to, I would take this to our work locations, right? I'd stay like in these construction type containers next to the glaciers where I'd be sharing accommodation with fellow guides, which is a very high pressure social environment with very little modern comforts. You're basically on the job from, the time you show up until the time you leave, which could be anywhere from like 6 to 12 days. And I was always trying to get as much work into a very condensed period of time. So I'd often be on shift for 12 days, living out of these containers in the middle of nowhere. Then I'd have a couple of days off. And then I'd be back on another long shift, living out in the boonies, together with people you don't choose. And maybe they don't choose me either. So it's a very high social pressure environment. And then in between, when I wasn't working, I was staying at friends. So after a while, even before I went, this was always this massive, massive source of stress and insecurity. Where am I going to stay next? Because, of course, I'd have friends who'd help me out and they'd let me stay on their couch or stay like in a spare room, but this was always like a couple of days at a time. And I always felt very acutely aware that, I was being a guest. I was staying on their couch, I was staying in their home at their grace. So you're never really 100% at ease. You're always living somewhere at grace of somebody else. Is that the correct English? Well, you're either working and living at work, or you're staying in somebody's home because they allow you to be there. And everybody knows that, guests, just like fish, they only stay fresh for a couple of days. So I was always worried about, what if they don't like me anymore? What if they don't want me to stay here anymore? What if it's not possible? So after a while, always trying to find the next place to sleep, moving around with my two bags, it was quite stressful. And now you might wonder, like, hey, yeah, Dieter, but why did you get yourself in that kind of situation? Why didn't you just get your own place? This is the story of my life. So obviously, I don't always do things alone. I have human relationships just like anybody else. And I bought a home with somebody else. So I was paying for that mortgage. still am paying for that mortgage, and then working someplace else, like getting 2 places to live, is just too expensive. It's just too complicated in all these human relationships. And I decided for myself that, it was just insane for me to pay Icelandic prices, where you can quickly pay more than €1,000 a month for like a garage that they painted white and they put a bed in a corner. Like, it's insane. So I decided, it's for me, if I want to have this life, this guiding life, I cannot have 2 places to live. I cannot pay for a mortgage and a full-time rent, because I was basically not being in these places. I was just always working. So for a couple of days a month, I basically decided to be homeless, and this brought a lot of stress. It was one of the major reasons for me to leave guiding in Iceland after a couple of years. Also because, I had matured professionally, I had gotten more diplomas, blah, blah, blah. It's a long story, it's a story for a different time. And I decided to come back to Europe, live in this home again, and then use this home as my base. So this brings up a very, very important question. What is home? Because is it the house? Is it the place, where you have your domicile, your address? Because to me, the house that I'm sitting in right now, yes, right now it feels like home, but for a long time it hasn't felt like home, because this is a place that I got out of necessity. It's a long personal story. I'm not going to share this story with you, at least not straight away. But basically, I was living in my grandfather's house because I was working as a teacher here in the area. My grandfather sadly passed away, and my family members decided that they wanted to cash in quickly and kicked me out on the streets. So at that point, I decided that I needed to have my own place, my own property, so I would no longer be at the mercy of landlords or family members. Now, as you'll see, this is about to change a little bit, and this is the first vlog. Let's call this a vlog, and I'll try to keep you guys posted of my new adventure going to Austria. And this brings with it a lot of insecurity, and for me to stay motivated to keep telling my story and keep you guys in the loop, it would be very nice for me to know that people are actually watching and anybody actually cares. Otherwise, there's no point to make these stories, these vlogs. So if you care, if you want me to keep making these things, please let me know in the comments, because I will not advertise these videos, these highly personal stories on any other channels like Facebook, all that kind of thing. I'll just upload it to this channel, and if anybody sees it, whatever. Another thing that really helps, also for you, if you want to keep, updated, just to subscribe to the channel. It helps me as well, and then I can keep making these stories. Anyway, how's it about to change? What am I about to do? So I'm moving to Austria to start a new job as an assistant manager in tourism. I'll tell you more about this job later, when things actually become more firm, when I have a little bit more security, because of course this brings with it a lot of insecurity. I'm moving to this other country. I'm also publicly needing to tell people that I'm going to a different country to do a different job. But what if the worst of the worst happens? Maybe I get fired in the first month, who knows? And in the shortest amount of time, I'm back here. That would be very embarrassing. I'm sorry, these are still the last throes of Corona, which I had like 3 weeks ago. It's getting a lot better now. So I'm moving to this place called Kärnten. Kärnten is German for Carinthia, and Carinthia is the most southernmost province in Austria, and it's straight on the border with Slovenia and Italy. So where Slovenia and Italy come together, if you just nip across the mountains, this is where I'll be, and this is where I'll be starting, where I will potentially be starting a new life in a new place, and this will bring with it a lot of joys, but also a lot of challenges. So I guess you guys will want to follow along. Maybe you're thinking about emigrating to Austria yourself, and I'll just try to show you the nitty-gritty. And at this stage, what I'm trying to do is so many practicalities. I'm going to keep this home for now, so I'm going to keep paying for it just in case, but I'm also packing all my stuff getting rid of so much things, like just really having like a purge in the house. I'm trying to figure out all the things that I need to cancel, all the subscriptions, insurance policies for some things, subscriptions for entertainment, maybe other, lots and lots of things that I need to cancel. But I also need to get things really quickly. One of these things is like winter tires. So I'm desperately trying to get myself some winter tires before I need to leave. And this is proving to be a bigger challenge than expected. So yeah, 10 days from now, packing up the van, heading out. And we'll just, face life, run the gauntlet, and keep you guys posted about what happens. So if you have any questions, about the process, about moving to Austria, maybe questions or remarks, or maybe tips of what you see happening in my life in these vlogs, please feel free to let me know. As always, comments are really appreciated, and I'd like this to be an interactive thing. And I hope you enjoyed the first episode of this vlog, and see you on the next one.